Hello and welcome. This is the Raven coming back at you again with another video. First thing off, I want to say is that yes, it's been another large amount of time since I last recorded a video. That is due to me being extremely busy once again, not having enough time to set up and sit in front of a camera and put across my thoughts. But luckily now I've managed to spare a few minutes just to do that very thing, and hopefully give you some advice and just give general commentary on the situation, the global situation as it stands now. Obviously, since the last video, things have changed very, very dramatically. Even in that short space of time, we're almost in a very different kind of world. Even after, say, two or 3 years, things have changed very, very dramatically. And the world is beginning to change even more as we go forward. Things are beginning to happen now. The West is at the end of its time. It's almost run its course. The West as an empire is coming to an end, much like the Romans and much like many empires that came before. It is in the last few decades of its existence. We will be seeing the end of it shortly, in my opinion. That is based on what I've seen and the things that are taking place today, and the things that have been taking place for a long time. Almost, the last 30 years, we've seen dramatic changes, dramatic things moving forward. Technology is advancing all the time. Technology in the last 10 years has advanced dramatically also. So, looking at the situation now, in terms of conflicts, the Middle East, that whole situation is spiraling out of control. We're seeing potential for proxy wars, proxy conflicts, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of that kind of thing in the future. You're looking at private security companies, mercenaries, backed private armies going into conflict zones, going into hostile zones and securing them and going conflict, not for any flag or for any border, but for money, to advance the agenda of whoever is paying them. And this isn't something that's new. We've seen this in Iraq and Afghanistan. We've seen it in the Horn of Africa. This has happened many times, but we're going to be seeing a lot more of it. That's the point. In the future, militaries scaling back, not being economically backed as a legitimate military, and seeing more private armies, private security companies rising up and being used instead of a legitimate military force, which, when you look at that, is not something that these Western countries were meant to be. They were meant to be legitimate forces, policing the rest of the world, if you will. But now they're using was basically a guerrilla force, a mercenary force, hired guns to do their bidding. So, and this is becoming very open knowledge now. This is not something that is hidden or something that is covert. This is something that we're seeing and being talked about and discussed and debated very openly. And so, this is a big threat, also because you can see these private security companies being used on their own territories, or used in the United States, or used in other countries to police their own people, which is also something that isn't new. This has happened before. The preparations are in place now for those things to happen. If you look at FEMA and all these other things, which I'm not going to go into, I'm not going to go and discuss all that because you probably know about most of these things. I'm not here to educate you on those things. There's plenty of information out there. I would not be the best source. Even if I did gather up all the information and all the facts, I would not be the best source to come to. I just want to give you some advice, give you my opinion, so that you can see it from a different perspective, perhaps. The key here is to just take all of the information, as I always say, and look at it look at all the information, gather all the information up from both sides of the story, and then try to make an opinion or form an opinion out of all of that knowledge, and try and be objective as possible and impartial, and try and see things for what they really are, which is difficult to do now in this world, particularly in the Western world, which the majority of us live in. But yeah, we're looking at the potential for things to really spiral out of control, potential for World War III. I mean, you've got Russians and the Chinese on one hand, and then you've got the Western countries, Israel as well, on the other side, fighting over countries like Iran and Syria. And people don't realize the potential for a global conflict out of this. Analysts do, and people who study these things do, but the general public do not know that this can spiral out of control and how badly things could get. I would put forward the opinion that this is all by design, that there is meant to be a third world conflict in order to wipe out everything and start afresh, basically clean the slate, clean everything down, and then once all of these countries have fought, people will no longer, these countries will all fight each other until the point where we can't fight anymore. And then what will we do? The same thing we did after the Second World War. We will all want peace, and we want a solution to the problem, essentially. And so everyone will be looking for peace after a war that is that bad. We'll all be saying that we can't do this again. We can't have another war like this. It's too destructive on the human race as a whole, and that'll all, in my opinion, be part of the plan to clean the slate, to wipe everything clean, and then to establish really a one world government. Because even the people who are against these things now, they will forget. Once a war comes, they will forget. These people who are revolting now, they will forget about all this once the war happens, and that'll be it. But my goal is not to revolt or to bring down these governments or the people backing these governments in a violent way necessarily. It's more to protect the innocent lives who are the collateral damage, or the ones who are really at risk because of these conflicts, because of the things that are going on. That is the goal. It's to protect the innocent people, protect the innocent lives, and to show people that there is hope, that there is still good left in the world, even though things are crumbling around us, and that we can make a change, we can make a difference, even if it means we have to die for what we believe in. That is what I believe is what we should be doing. Not gathering in the streets, not killing our own people to get a point across. I believe there is a time in life to fight, and there are things that we should fight for, but we shouldn't fight because a politician or someone in a position of power tells us to. We should always question that. Fight only because you need to defend those you care about, and you need to defend the people who are innocent, like I said before, the people who are in harm's way. That's a reason why you should fight. You shouldn't fight because somebody else has told you to, because then you're just looking for excuses to be a violent person. And we all have violence within us to some degree. I mean, that's just human nature, but at the end of the day, we have control over ourselves, and we should only fight because for the right reasons. That's at least what I believe. But I think going forward now, we just need to be very careful. We need to focus on what is happening around us, particularly in the Western world. Ignore these, the things that are trying to distract you. Shut the things out that are distracting you, and really try to keep focused on the real truth. The real truth here, and the real truth is that nothing is what it seems, and you're being manipulated, and you're being controlled. You need to use your mind to break out of the prison that you're in. Once you understand, once you know, then you're free. The truth will set you free, and that is the point. You'll never be free physically from this, but you can be free mentally, and that is to be free in the end, because it's a psychological battle. It's a battle for your mind. It's a battle for your soul, and you need to be awake and alive and ready to respond with action, and to be a person who is not going to sit there and allow this to happen to you. You need to be focused and alert, and I would just give you the advice to stay focused on the truth and stay focused on what is right, not to believe the lies that you're told on a daily basis. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to get into. Just a quick video. Hopefully I will be able to come back with something else, but we'll have to see on that one. So thank you all for watching, and take it easy.